just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen.
Tory Lanez' sentencing was messy, and the once mighty Suge Knight was in disbelief that he passed out. Going to jail is a nightmare for anyone, and from the reaction of these rappers, they really didn't want to spend a day in prison. Despite their gangsta image, these rappers' reactions to their sentences tell a different story. From shock to anger and even regret, nothing can save them from their fate, life behind bars. And this first rapper blamed his 47-year sentence on racism. Tay-K.
17-year-old Tamar McIntyre has been arrested in New Jersey.
Teen rapper convicted of murder.
The jury deliberated for a little longer than 3 hours today here before deciding on that 55-year sentence.
Texas rapper Tay-K rose to fame after his audacious plot to evade a court hearing. His crime, murder. On July 26, 2016, the rapper and a few of his friends conspired to rob 17-year-old Zachary Belote. The robbery did not go as planned, as Belote's friend, Ethan Walker, was shot and killed as the robbers attempted to flee the crime scene. Tay-K admitted his role in the botched robbery in a 2.5-hour interrogation. At first, the rapper denied any involvement in the home invasion. He later acknowledged that he went to the Mansfield house but did not go inside. Eventually, he admitted that he had entered the home and looked for drugs under a couch but left the house after not finding any. Since Tay-K was a minor, he was placed under house arrest while awaiting certification hearings. Everything was going smoothly until the rapper had a brilliant idea just a few days before the hearing, which he decided to post on social media. "Fuck this house arrest shit. 12, he posted. He decided to cut off his ankle monitor and make a run for it. On the run, he even released a song and posted a music video. Well, U.S. Marshals were soon at his hideout, and he was quickly taken back to court. Tay-K was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 55 years behind bars, which he didn't take too kindly to. The rapper took to social media to air his frustrations and accused the criminal justice system of racism. According to him, he would have received a lesser sentence if he was white. "I bet if I was a lil white kid, they wouldn't have gave me no 55 years for a crime I was alleged to play the most insignificant role in when I was 16. They would have rightfully argued that my mind wasn't fully developed and gave me rehabilitation and a first chance at adulthood." Tay-K even argued that one of his co-defendants, a white girl, got only 10 years of probation without even having to make a deal with prosecutors. "One of my co-defendants was a white girl who was 16, just like me. They didn't certify her as an adult, but they certified me and Pimp as adults. Pimp got 30, I got 55. She ended up getting 10 years of probation without a deal. That girl at home right now." Well, Tay-K will have to serve at least 27 years before being eligible for parole. While Tay-K was only 16 when he committed his crime, this next rapper was not, and his anger issues landed him time behind bars. Pooh Shiesty.
Broad daylight bullets. 2 hit. Over $500,000 in exotic cars. And it involves a recording artist, Pooh Shiesty.
Rapper Pooh Shiesty is facing prison time after pleading guilty to a gun charge.
On October 9th, 2020, 3 vehicles pulled up into a condo parking lot on 9700 East Bay Harbor Drive. First, a green McLaren and black Mercedes Maybach pulled up. These belonged to the rapper and his affiliates. Later, another Mercedes-Benz pulled up into the parking lot. What happened next would see 2 people get shot, and Lontrell Donald Williams Jr., alias Pooh Shiesty, ended up behind bars. One of the victims revealed that they had met the rapper at the location to sell him a pair of Air Jordan 4 shoes, while the other victim said they were meeting to sell him weed and receive a payment for the McLaren they had rented to him. As one of the victims said he was talking with the rapper in the McLaren, 2 men got out of the Maybach and approached them with guns. Pooh Shiesty told the victim to get out of the car, and as he got out, he was shot in the ass. The other victim was walking to their own car when they heard 2 shots and fell to the ground. One of the victims then drove his friend, who had sustained a gunshot wound, to a nearby hospital. Ironically, the rapper left behind a Louis Vuitton bag full of cash. After cops investigated the incident with the help of CCTV and social media posts, arrest warrants were issued for Shiesty and 2 other suspects. Apparently, detectives searched Shiesty's Instagram account and found photos of him posing with the McLaren, another of him with the Louis Vuitton bag, and another of him showing cash, including a $100 bill whose serial number matched one of the bills found in the bag at the scene. The rapper later agreed to turn himself in. He was then sentenced to 5 years in jail, a sentence he seemed pleased with. He took to Instagram to let his feelings known. "I just want to thank all my loved ones, supporters, and fans for holding me down during these hard times. I wish I could be coming home to y'all, but this could have been way worse. I will be back sooner than y'all think, but in the meantime, new music dropping next week. The rapper is due out in 2027. Tory Lanez."
Yes, this nigga Tory shot me.
Rapper Tory Lanez has been found guilty of shooting hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion.
Rapper Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion in 2020.
On July 12, 2020, Tory was arrested on a charge of carrying a concealed weapon in a vehicle. However, as things would later pan out, he was neck deep in trouble. According to reports, Kylie Jenner had invited Tory, Megan, and her best friend at the time, Kelsey Harris, to a pool party on July 11, 2020. Rumor has it that Tory may have been flirting with Kylie a bit too much during the party, which did not go down well with Megan. Megan was pissed and had gone to sit in the car while Kylie and Tory continued flirting in the pool. There are several theories of what happened next leading to the shots being fired. One of the theories was that Megan had ended her relationship with Tory, which led to Tory getting mad and letting off shots. The other was that Megan had become physical with Tory, which escalated to shots being fired. In an Instagram Live, Megan claimed that she was in Tory's car with him, his bodyguard, and Kelsey, and that the four were arguing. According to her, the argument ensued because she wanted to leave, and everyone else wanted to stay.
There was an argument in the car?
It was an argument because I was ready to go and everybody else wasn't ready to go.
Megan, who was in the front seat, left the car. She alleged that Tory shouted at her, telling her to dance before shooting at her through the car's back window.
And all I hear is this man screaming, he said, "Dance, bitch." And he started shooting.
He then apologized and offered her and Kelsey Harris $1 million for them to keep quiet about what had happened because he was on probation. Since she was wearing a bikini, she agreed to get back into the car with them. However, people in the neighborhood had already called the cops after hearing shots being fired and an SUV driving off. The vehicle was stopped and everyone was ordered out, leading to the infamous video of Megan limping with her foot bleeding. And now, the Canadian rapper sits in jail. But the reaction after his sentence, especially from his family, tells the whole story. Reports from inside the courtroom after Tory was found guilty described the scene as his father and stepmother screamed about injustice. The scenes outside the courtroom were not any better.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Well, Tory is due out in 2029, but for this next rapper, his fate hasn't yet been sealed. Suge Knight.
Pop mogul Marion Suge Knight is headed back to prison. Today, a Los Angeles judge sentenced the 53-year-old co-founder of Death Row Records to 28 years in jail.
Suge Knight was once a feared figure in the music industry, but not anymore. He has been reduced to a podcaster, which he actually does while still in jail. The former Death Row Records executive is in jail for a hit and run that resulted in a fatality. In January 2015, tensions were running high on the promotional video set for the highly anticipated film Straight Outta Compton. Witnesses reported seeing Knight in a rage, his anger boiling over. In a horrifying turn of events, Knight, behind the wheel of his Ford pickup truck, accelerated towards two individuals. The impact was devastating. Terry Carter, a respected businessman and friend of Knight, was tragically killed, while the other victim suffered severe injuries. Knight faced several charges, including murder, attempted murder, and hit and run. He ultimately pleaded no contest to the charge of voluntary manslaughter. This downgraded charge carried a maximum sentence of 28 years in prison, a significant reduction from the potential life sentence he could have faced. However, his reaction to life in jail hasn't been the best as his health deteriorates. At one time, Knight collapsed during a court hearing after his bail was set at a staggering $25 million. In 2016, he was rushed to the clinic after his appendix burst, forcing him to get surgery. As Knight began his journey to recovery after the emergency surgery for his busted appendix, another medical complication emerged. He discovered that he had developed an abscess near his colon, adding further complexity to his already challenging health situation. From losing phone and visitor privileges to solitary confinement, Suge Knight isn't having the most pleasant of times behind bars. Casanova.
Brooklyn-born rapper Casanova pleads guilty to federal racketeering and drug charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office claims Casanova led the untouchable guerrilla Stone Nation Bloods gang and directed a multi-state conspiracy in that role.
On December 1st, 2020, the feds arrested 17 members of the untouchable guerrilla Stone Nation gang. A few hours earlier, prosecutors from the Southern District of New York Federal Court declared a warrant for the arrest of Casanova, who they alleged was a leader within the gang, and 17 of his gang members. By December 2nd, Casanova had still not been arrested and was now being treated as a fugitive. The feds sent out a tweet and attached his photo, letting the public know that they were looking for the rapper in connection to the case. "We are still looking for Caswell Sr., aka Casanova, in connection with this case," the tweet read. However, the same day, the NYPD revealed that the Brooklyn-born star had surrendered himself to officers in Manhattan, a moment the rapper documented.
Going in, baby, I love you like cooked food. I'm a whole gangster tough dude. I see you soon. I love you like cooked food.
Love you too.
The rapper was slapped with various charges, including firearm possession, conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, and racketeering conspiracy. The rapper was facing life in prison if convicted of the top charge against him, racketeering conspiracy. At first, Casanova pleaded not guilty to all his charges. However, the rapper later changed his tune. On May 11, 2022, Casanova followed the footsteps of 12 other gang members and pleaded guilty to racketeering and narcotics offenses. He admitted to participating in shooting a man at a party in Florida over a gambling dispute in July 2020, a robbery in NYC in August 2018, and conspiring to traffic over 100 kilograms of weed. Having spent more than 2 years behind bars waiting for his sentencing, he finally got to know his fate on June 27. Although he was facing up to 60 years, he was sentenced to 15 years behind bars. His stay in jail has also not been the most pleasant after he was viciously attacked.
After a former New York City rapper who was awaiting sentencing on federal drug charges got slashed in a vicious altercation with another inmate.
According to prison officials, he was slashed with a blade-like weapon across his face by an inmate. Casanova then chased the attacker alongside other inmates and retaliated by cutting the inmate's face several times. Seems like he is in for an eventful 15 years behind bars. Young Thug.
The Fulton County District Attorney claims the rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams Jr., is part of a gang that used violence, drugs, and even murder to make money.
On May 9, 2022, Young Thug, Gunna, and 26 others were named gang members in a grand jury indictment. The 88-page grand jury indictment alleged 182 instances of the group participating in gang activity. So far in the trial, prosecutors have presented lyrics and social media posts to prove gang affiliation. The indictment against YSL members had a list of 56 charges, which included murder, attempted murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, theft, drug selling, carjacking, and witness intimidation. The indictment singled out Young Thug as a mob leader. So far in the trial, it's not looking good for the rapper. Some of his homies seem to be turning their backs on him and taking plea deals. One betrayal that seemed to hit home was when Gunna, one of his closest friends in and out of the industry, took a plea deal to save his own skin. Gunna was actually caught on video admitting that YSL was a criminal gang. That's not the only tragedy that Young Thug has endured during the trial. The harsh jail conditions have also been a pain in the neck for the rapper. His cell only has a bed, toilet, and overhead light that remains on the whole day, causing the rapper sleepless nights. He also can't access any media, including the internet, shower, or even exercise. This, of course, has caused public outrage, especially from the hip-hop and black communities. Civil rights organizations such as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference have gotten involved in the case. In an effort to fan the flames, the Cobb County Sheriff's Office invited the media to visit the jail and confirm that the allegations brought up by the rapper were false. Although the camera crew was not given access to the rapper's actual jail cell, they were shown a similar one. True to Young Thug's claims, the cell had very little space for one to exercise. Well, it seems like this will be the rapper's home for the duration of his case. Chef G.
Prominent drill rapper and more than 30 other alleged gang members have been charged after a major takedown in Brooklyn.
Those gang members shot at rivals in broad daylight.
On the 7th of April, 2021, Chef G, he rented out a black Jeep Trackhawk, which was registered in his name. This was the car that would be used to track down one, a former affiliate turned snitch. Well, with New York full of CCTV cameras and the gang carrying out their hit during the day, it would not take long for cops to locate the vehicle and trace it back to Chef G. The drill rapper picked up his goons at around 4 p.m. and drove around Brooklyn. The group hit the jackpot as they saw their target on Church Avenue. Chef G parked the vehicle nearby as the 3 others exited the vehicle. The 3 walked down the street and opened fire at their target. They then ran back to the car, which sped off. Their target was lucky as he escaped the ordeal without any gunshot wounds. However, 2 innocent bystanders were not so lucky as they were shot. Fortunately, they both survived. The first victim was a 43-year-old woman who can be seen in this video walking with an elderly person, while the second victim was a 53-year-old man who can be seen painfully holding his arm. Security cameras all over the city captured the vehicle as it raced to a secluded place where the gang dumped it. The rapper crossed into the borough of Manhattan and parked the car at 481 Washington Street. They all scattered as the rapper called an Uber to go back to New Jersey. On May 16th, 2023, the Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and New York City Deputy Chief of Detectives Jason Savino announced the arrest of Chef G and fellow rapper Sleepy Hallow as part of a 32-person, 140-count gang indictment. The indictment alleged murder, attempted murder, gun possession, and other crimes. According to the cops, Chef G was the leader of the 8 Trey Crips, who partnered with the 9 Ways gang and caused havoc in New York. After spending 14 months in jail, the rapper is currently out on bond after posting a whooping $1.5 million bond. However, with text messages between him and his gang being used as evidence, Chef G has a long way to go to get his freedom back. YNW Melly.
2 men are in jail this morning, including an up-and-coming Florida rapper. Both men are charged in a double murder. Police are saying the 2 staged a crime scene to make it look like a drive-by shooting.
YNW Melly is currently being held at Broward County Jail in Florida for charges so bizarre that, if true, could make him one of the most evil rappers ever. After news of Melly's arrest broke out on 12th of February 2019, the world was shocked at the charges that were attached to his name. On 12th of February 2019, cops arrested Melly in connection to the death of 2 of his friends, Anthony Williams, alias YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Thomas, alias YNW Juvie, were murdered on 21st October 2018. Aged 21 and 19, respectively, the 2 rappers were Melly's childhood friends and were among the founders of the YNW rap group. At first, it was reported that the 2 young rappers had been shot and killed in a drive-by shooting. This was reported by another member of their crew, YNW Bortland, who drove the pair to the hospital in a Jeep Compass. However, after months of investigation, the cops had a different view of things. The drive-by shooting story didn't add up. There were too many inconsistencies. According to police statements, YNW Bortland told cops that he and the 2 victims had just wrapped a late-night studio session when a car pulled up on his driver's side and opened fire as he was pulling off the freeway. He then drove to an emergency room in the early morning hours, asking for help for his 2 friends in his car, claiming they had been shot in the drive-by. Detectives arrested Melly and Bortland in February 2019 and charged them with 2 counts of first-degree murder. According to detectives, the 2 staged a drive-by after killing their 2 friends. YNW Melly has been in jail for years, waiting for his case to start. The evidence brought out against him by the prosecution may be damning if proven true. The state of Florida also announced that it would seek capital punishment against Melly, as prosecutors believe they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the rapper murdered his 2 friends. However, in the end, the judge ruled a mistrial after the jury remained deadlocked.
A stunning development in the double murder trial of YNW Melly.
After days of deliberations, the jury was deadlocked, leading the judge to declare a mistrial.
The prosecution had tried its best to show Melly was the shooter. First, detectives claimed they found a shell casing inside the Jeep, along with 8 matching shell casings in a different location, where they think Melly and Bortland shot the car to make it look like a drive-by. Reports also showed that the initial shot was fired from inside the car on the left rear passenger side. CCTV footage that showed the group leaving the studio that night helped investigators determine that Melly had been sitting on the left rear passenger side of the car. They also tried to show that he had murdered his friends for financial gain. YNW Juvie's father revealed Melly's motive in the murders. Juvie's father revealed that his son had opened up to him about a deal that would see the 3 artists share $500,000 among them. Melly and Sack Chaser would get $200,000 each, while Juvie would get $100,000.
Because it's not reported, but Chris told me the same story, and also with a $500,000 play, and Melly was going to get $200,000, Sack was going to get $200,000, Chris was going to get $100,000.
Well, Melly continues to wait for his next court date as his life remains on the line. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.